Terroir is a French word very dear to the heart of every wine lover. It refers to the confluence of climate, weather, soil, and all these other factors that can influence the character of a wine. There are some wine areas of the world where the terroir plays an essential role in shaping the character of the wines. And the Langhe, one of the most relevant wine regions of Italy, is definitely among them, especially when it comes to the wine known as Barolo. Hi, I'm Jacqueline of Vero, and we search out small production, farmer-artisan wines made with passion that are hard to find in the US. And today, we are going to explore together the terroir of the Barolo winemaking area. We are in the northwest of Italy in a region called Piedmont. It's an area dominated by hills, completely covered in vines, and these cute little picturesque hilltop towns that are very renowned for tourism and viticulture. Here, in the Langhe in Piedmont, it is possible to make the famous Barolo wine in a very restricted portion of land containing less than 4,000 acres spread across 11 small villages. Within such a restricted area, the terroir plays an essential role in molding the character of the wine and differentiating one Barolo from another. These differences can be found anywhere, from the tastes, the aromas, in the tannic structure, even the age-worthiness and the overall quality of the wine can depend on where the Barolo came from. Italian wine legislation wants to preserve the specificity of these different Barolos, and it did so in 2010 by adding the notion of MGAs to the set of regulations for making Barolo wines. MGA stands for Menzione Geografica Aggiuntiva, which in English translates to an additional geographic mention on the label. These MGAs can sometimes be terms like Bricco, hilltop, Sori, slope, and Vigna, vineyard, that can be added on the label after the main denomination of Barolo DOCG, and they have to be followed by the name of the specific place. There are 181 of these very specific names, though not all of them are equally prestigious. In fact, there are some of these MGAs that enjoy a higher and more prestigious reputation within the wine community. These are names like Ginestra, Canubi, or Vigna Rionda, for example. So what defines the different terroirs in the Barolo area? The main factor is the soil. This is essential for the Nebbiolo grape. It's one of the most site-sensitive varieties. It's gotta be perfect and love where it is to grow well. In the Langhe, we can essentially find two different soil types. In the western part, by Barolo and La Mora, we find that a calcareous marl soil predominates. In this area, it can also be called Tortonium soil. These wines are milder and mature faster. In the east, nearer to Serralunga, the soils have a higher sandstone content, and it's called Helvetium. It gives a more powerful and tannic wine that requires a longer aging period to mellow out. Climate plays a very important role in shaping the taste and aromas of the wine as well. Factors like sun exposure, frost, hail, and rain can be very specific to only certain areas. What hits one vineyard might not hit another vineyard. And when it comes to precipitation, the slightest difference from one vineyard to another can make a huge difference in the strength, quantity, and quality of these precipitations. So what does this mean for us consumers and wine lovers? Well, if you look at the labels of a Barolo wine, you will see the name of the village, such as Serralunga d'Alba, right after the name of the appellation, Barolo, and that is the MGA. So let's take, for example, the wines from small winemaker Aldo Clerico. He makes 3 different Barolos. One is a blend, and the other 2 are single vineyards. The classic black label Barolo doesn't have any indication of MGA on the label, despite the fact that it comes from a vineyard known as Bricco San Pietro. Aldo Clerico prefers not to state this MGA on the label in order to differentiate this Barolo from his other 2. The second wine is the Barolo del Comune di Serralunga. And this MGA refers to the whole village of Serralunga d'Alba, and Aldo Clerico prefers it over the even more specific MGA Cerretta, the name of the actual individual vineyard. And lastly, on the label of the third, Barolo Ginestra, you can see the MGA Ginestra that refers to one of the most renowned Barolo vineyards found near Monforte d'Alba. Another trick that Aldo Clerico uses to allow the terroir to shine through in his wines is that he uses only native yeast to start and finish the fermentation process in all of his Barolos. This means he relies only on the yeasts naturally found on the skin of the grapes at the time of harvest, or, in other words, the yeasts that are native to the specific vineyard and terroir from which the grapes were plucked. So, there you have it. This was a brief introduction to the terroir of the Barolo region. You can learn more about Aldo Clerico, his Barolos, and other Vero content from the links in the description below. Thank you for watching, and if you found this video informative or interesting, hit the like button as well. Have a nice day, and I'll see you at the next class.